Hi, my name is Sarah Lay, and this is my persuasive speech on why you should be a foster parent. I am very passionate about foster care because I have loved ones who have been involved with the system, and I know how badly they need foster parents. Over 400,000 children are in the United States foster care system. In most states, there's about half of the number of foster homes needed for children in care. This is something that affects every citizen of this country. The lack of foster parents leads to higher crime rates, higher teen suicide rates, higher unemployment rates, and displays a clear lack of compassion for children in need. Today, I will display the need for more foster parents and persuade you all to, at the very least, consider fostering a child in need. First, we will discuss how the foster system and a lack of foster homes leads to a large number of foster youth incarcerated. 70% of youth in the juvenile justice system are in foster care, according to the organization Foster America. Approximately 14% of youth ages 12 to 17 who have ever been in foster care report a need for treatment for substance abuse. However, not all incarcerated foster youth have committed a crime. In an interview conducted by the Washington Post, Jared Mitchell discussed his experience with foster care and how he was put into juvenile detention despite never being convicted of a crime. After his mother died of a drug overdose when he was 8, Mitchell became a ward of the state. Then he was filtered through various foster homes, shelters, and group homes. However, as Mitchell entered his late teens, it became increasingly difficult to place him, so he ended up in a juvenile detention center locked up with thieves and murderers when the only thing he was guilty of was being in foster care. In an article in the Washington Post, Emily Wax Thibodeau says Jared's only crime was being a foster child in an era when a surging number of biological parents are falling into the grips of drug addiction, and child welfare systems are struggling with a shortage of foster parents. Mitchell's case does not stand alone. The nonprofit organization A Better Childhood, or ABC, is currently pursuing class action lawsuits against 8 states regarding their reckless placement of children in the system. Foster children are not being cared for as they should be. This reflects a complete failure of child protective services, the foster care system, and others. Another issue facing the foster system is privatization of foster care. Privatization is when Child Protective Services, CPS, or the government sells foster children to a private company and puts that company in charge of the placement of those children. The government will privatize foster care when there is a lack of funding and homes. By giving cases to private companies, the government no longer has to spend the money to provide shelter and care for the child. While privatization is cost-effective and presented with good intentions, it is bad because private companies are not nearly as supervised as government-owned foster care. They will allow former foster parents who have had their foster licenses revoked become foster parents for their organization without doing a thorough background check. Children whose case files end up with private companies often end up abused and neglected. This nation is in dire need of foster parents. Nelson Mandela once said, "A society's soul should be judged by how it treats its children." And if the United States were to be judged on that, we would not make it through Judgment Day. I urge all of you to look into the foster system in the United States and consider becoming a foster parent.